Wow. You kind of grind, huh?
I'm a little bit of a grinder.
Yeah. Well,
For those of
ooh,
you
that
who
was a
don't
weird
know
noise.
what was that? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Broverwatch podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and as always, I'm joined here by Calder Amos Wood. Calder, how are you doing on this fine boy day?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. You've got like a skyline in the background. Your window's open. It looks like you live in the big city, but really it's just like 3 apartment buildings have their lights on.
Yeah, I think that's my university.
Oh, well, it looks like you're like deep in a big city right now, and
Yeah, but
it
the only
looks
thing I'm
impressive.
deep in is debt. That's not true.
uh,
Gotta pay off 3 mortgages.
that's relatable.
I mean, it is.
It is relatable,
Just not to us.
just not to us. We have other problems, such as rent. But hey,
You're
to
not
each
telling
their
me
own.
if there's anything new with you.
Oh, not much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working the morning shift on the radio this week, so I'm in a
That's why.
I'm in a perpetual state of having 2-hour naps every 4 hours. I haven't gotten a good night's sleep recently.
Yeah, because you sent me a video and you said that you just woke up from a nap. And I was like, why is he napping? It's like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's because I slept for like 2 or 3 hours last night, got up, had a 3-hour radio shift, and then I came home and slept for like 2 hours, and then I got up.
Wow. You kind of grind, huh?
I'm a little bit of a grinder.
Yeah. Well,
For those of you
that
who
was a
don't
weird
know
noise.
what was that? For those of you who don't know, the Broverwatch podcast is a podcast where 2 big old little boys get together and talk about Overwatch League news and games. And since we're in the off season, it's mostly news. Also, we didn't talk about this before the podcast. Should we even talk about Overwatch 2 in this episode?
I don't care now.
Let's briefly touch on why because I feel like both of us don't really want to talk about it. Let's touch on why a little bit. I don't really feel like it's worth talking about because, first of all, if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you care about Overwatch and you likely already know. Second, I feel like at this point, you just wait for BlizzCon. It's like there's so many tiny little garbage leaks and rumors that are not even that great. It's like, just wait for BlizzCon. I've done like
or
I've
just
got
do like one thing before BlizzCon. Just have one person leak it. Like, just have Slasher leak something. Don't have like 18 little streamers each have a screenshot of the game with an X over it or something.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about this a bit before, but like, I hate it when leaks leaks in general. I feel like I used to like, but recently I've gone to the other side. I don't like leaks for almost anything because it just ruins surprises and ruins hype, and it ruins things for the people who are receiving them. It doesn't ruin the thing for the people receiving them, but it ruins the surprise. But then for the people who were a part of making whatever that thing is happen, in this case a game, in like the case of like Overwatch teams, it's like a roster change. Like with leaks, it's like they're excited to announce this thing and see people's reactions, and then some random guy just like tweets it. And everyone's like, oh. Instead of like, whoa, dude! Like when Hydration went to Outlaws, no one expected that, and everyone was like, their minds were blown.
Yeah.
Whereas like a bunch of other things, they're just like leaked, and you're like, oh, I'm expecting this now.
I dislike it more for the game because now I have the feeling like when you watch a movie that you really like, and you're like, I kind of wish I could just watch the movie the first time again.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could have the experience of like figuring or just watching BlizzCon and have this then be like, there's gonna be another Overwatch.
That's the
And
other thing.
also,
You go.
I'm less hyped for Overwatch 2 because it's not my kind of game either.
Mhm.
I don't really play a lot of PvE stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I will because it'll be fun.
Well,
but
that's the other thing. I don't know, man. It just bugs me because like it would have been so cool to be watching BlizzCon and be like, oh, they're probably gonna announce like a new map or something, and then they're like Overwatch 2, which by the way, I don't think it's gonna be Overwatch 2. It's gonna be like a big update that they're calling like the next chapter of Overwatch, or it's gonna be a new game, but it's gonna be called like Overwatch Legends or some BS trash like that. But like, I don't know. It would have been so exciting if they were like, there's this massive thing we've been working on and you didn't even know about, and then they show us all this new footage and it's crazy. Instead of, hey guys, look at this thing, and everyone's like, I already saw the low res tracer image on Twitter from Overwatch Leaker 99. So
nice one.
and it's like, I don't know. It's just so less cool, and I feel bad for developers. Like the first time I ever like had this thought process was there was a Harry Potter RPG game that was leaked like a year ago. It's like
was it the iPhone one?
No,
Or
it was
it a
like
different one?
it's an RPG game that apparently I think is still coming out, but like it was leaked. There was some footage that was leaked. And it's like, imagine working on some like massive project, working like overtime hours for like 3 years, and then some guy just like tweets a video of it and everyone's like, "Oh cool. Looking forward to that." Instead of like, "Whoa!" when they like officially announce it. It just pisses me off. I don't know. So that's why we're not really talking about it. There's nothing new to talk about it, and I don't think it's even worth talking
Also,
about.
we just talk about it next week because it's coming out this weekend.
Exactly.
Well, the game's not coming out, I don't think. But
Next week's BlizzCon, boys. Which another
this week.
No, I'm saying the BlizzCon episode is what we had.
Yeah.
But another thing that was weird was among all those leaks, it said that Overwatch is going to go free to play, and I highly doubt that. Because they literally just released it on Switch. They would be like, buy our Switch game. And then like 2 weeks later, be like, it's free to play now. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Maybe
so I don't
it won't
think
be free to play on Switch.
Yeah, but that would be
That's weird.
That would be very weird and dumb.
Also, maybe just like fix the normal game too. Because no one's really liked the normal game for a year and a half.
Yeah. It was good. Overwatch always has periods where it's like really good for like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a month. And then something
Then it's 8 months.
People realize that one thing is I don't know. It's in a weird spot right now. Like I played Overwatch for the first time in like a month yesterday, and I just played 1v1 because that's more fun to me right now.
Play Fortnite with me. It'd be fun.
Anyway, so that's why we're not talking about Overwatch 2 in this episode, even though we literally kind of just talked about it for like
60 minutes.
7 minutes. But
this episode of 60 minutes.
Okay. But so instead we're going to talk. Okay.
I'm just going to take over right now, okay?
And there he goes.
You know what? They look at me, everyone looks at this podcast, they go, Calder's the Michael Jordan works. Because Calder just takes over, baby, and he makes it so much better. How about I made a spreadsheet. I'd like everyone to know. I'm really good. Why don't we just go through the spreadsheet and go through each team?
Do you want?
Because a lot of these teams don't really have anything to talk about.
This is the spreadsheet. I just put it on screen just so that people can see it. Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Should I just keep it up for the whole episode, or should I just?
I don't care. Why don't we just link it in the description?
Oh, you want to share it? You could do that. You'd have to have a shareable link so that people can't edit it.
Can view. I think this link will work.
All right, cool. So in the description, there will be a link to this that will just be updating as things go, just to keep track of all the changes. But yeah, so I guess I'll just keep it up on the screen for the episode.
Shit.
Also, everyone
All
can
right.
see my bookmarks. That's good.
Lots of porn.
No.
Lots of porn.
It's my NBA fantasy draft, lightsabers, t-shirts, Overwatch. It's like nothing exposing it all.
Did you do a draft with Matt?
Yeah, dude.
That's pretty fun.
Everyone knew that I really wanted Fred VanVleet, so I just like kept bidding, showing that I wanted him, and then I stuck someone with him, paying like 6 times as much as he's worth, because everyone just thought I was gonna keep bidding, and then I just randomly was like, nope. And then some, because we had a budget of $500 for 13 players, and I made a guy pay $110 for Fred VanVleet.
Oh no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who's your best player?
Probably Russell Westbrook.
Oh, that's a good one.
Except I'm being absolutely dominated right now. We've only had 1 week, and I'm being absolutely bombed. I'll show you after. It's so bad. Russell's like my one good player. I have Drew Holiday, but he's not playing right now.
Also, not very offensive.
Yeah.
He's a good player, just, you know.
And then I took a gamble. This will be the last thing I mention about NBA, but I took a gamble and got Terrence Davis from the Raptors.
Oh no,
because he's been doing well when he's on, and my brother's like, he's not gonna play, and I'm like, but he's gonna blow up, and he's like,
Not really how the NBA works, but you know, you tried. You'll get him next year.
Yeah, well,
Slugger.
We'll see. Well, this is the first time I've ever actually paid attention to a sport, so I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway.
Atlanta.
My boys.
Haven't really done anything yet. And that means not dropping or picking up anyone.
Which they were one of the teams that everyone was saying probably wasn't going to make massive moves in the offseason. They did pretty well. I was going to say probably did the best as an expansion team, but then I realized Vancouver Titans exist.
Yeah, that's one of them.
So there you go.
The only thing that they're rumored to do, because I think this is still a rumor, is Funny Astro to Fusion, which us on the Broverwatch think is sort of in the air right now because of what's kind of been happening around Fusion. Because I believe that this was leaked before Carpe re-signing. And I think Carpe re-signing might have changed their plans.
Yeah. And Funny Astro is the only player that's on contract. Every other player's team option, but he's the only one that's on under contract. So they'd either have, I mean, I guess they could just get
they'd have to
cash,
trade him, or it'd have to be like a money trade.
Which is decent, but I thought they'd just keep Funny Astro because, like, Massa's good, but he's voiced concerns about traveling. So I feel like it would be nice to have someone there in case Massa decides he doesn't like it. I don't know. And then if Massa ends up being like, it's fine, then you can trade Funny Astro like later in the season. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think it would probably be a cash trade because I'm not sure who they would pick up. Like, would they get Boombox? I don't think they'd get Boombox.
No. From Philly?
So, yeah. Because right now, all they have is Boombox, Poco, Sado, and Carpe. I think, is Carpe even re-signing even official yet? There's so many leaks and shit, I don't even know it's official.
I think it's official. I think Carpe signing's official. And it's for 2 years, I think. Or it might have even been 3 years. It was mad. It was I think it was
3 years.
But
yeah, it's
yeah, I don't know who you would get.
Anyway, Atlanta doesn't seem like they're going to be making many moves.
They could do a trade with for one of their academy players or something.
Yeah, that's true. Because Fusion has allegedly traded Beast Halo to Toronto. I don't know if we want to get into that. We'll just go to Boston
into that a bit later.
But
Boston, just to finish off Atlanta, they even if they don't make any moves, they're pretty good. They can survive the beginning of the season at least. But they'll definitely do a couple signs.
And a lot of teams are making a lot of moves, kind of trying to predict what will happen, but I think synergy is probably the most important thing to keep right now.
Yeah.
Unless you're completely rebuilding.
Which a lot of teams are doing.
Yeah, but there's a lot of teams that are completely rebuilding, but they don't really have a plan, it seems like. But the Gladiators seem to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between what the Gladiators are doing and what Boston does.
Yeah. I feel like 50% of teams that are like exploding their rosters are going to like see success, and it'll be like, wow, they made a bunch of great roster moves and it really works. And then 50% of teams that blow up their rosters are just going to be like, it's just a cluster of players that you just got with no plan
like,
for
these
why.
Are the best guys.
So, yeah, we'll see.
So Boston, we previously mentioned them. They've only got 5 players under contract right now. They recently signed 2 DPS, Miyunbong and Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Will they be the Color Hex and Blase of next season? Most likely. And by that I mean very underutilized and on a poor team.
Good players on a bad team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they came from Meta Athena and O2 Blast, which are not like small contenders teams. So they probably, I want to think that they got offers from other places and then decided it was Boston.
Which I'll use this opportunity to quickly say, apparently Kaiser of O2 Blast, I think he's on O2 Blast. Kaiser hasn't received any, or he probably has now that story came out, but as of like 3 days ago, he'd received no offers from any teams. Like no teams had even talked to him. And I think it's just a whole thing of like teams assuming that he'd already been in talks with other teams.
Yeah.
So they just didn't. But it's like, you can't just shoot him a message and be like, hey, have you been talking to any teams? And then if he goes no, then you go, oh, cool. I get first dibs. It's like,
yeah,
it's just shoot him a message. Although,
especially when so many teams kind of need a main tank.
Yeah, to be fair, he didn't like put out I don't think he put out like a looking for team tweet, so people just assumed that he'd had something set up previously, but still, it's worth shooting him a message. But Boston only has 5 players right now.
Because they dropped most of their roster from last season and traded Blase to Houston. I don't know. It's kind of expected. They were shit.
Yep.
So
they're doing what they've done every time, which is just like, I mean, I say every time, it's been 2 seasons, but like, just blow up the roster, try again.
Yeah. So we'll see how Boston does. They'll probably have a couple good moments during the season.
It's kind of funny that we did Atlanta and Boston back to back because they're taking completely opposite positions. Atlanta is opting for synergy, previously built synergy, as like, let's build up this roster and over time the synergy will build and we'll be a great team. Whereas Boston's saying, didn't work, let's try something else. It's like 2 different. Yeah. And maybe I'm biased because it's Atlanta and because Houston kind of did the same thing. But although they're switching some stuff up now, but like, I feel like the synergy
well, Atlanta's had better results than Houston already.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the major difference between the two. Houston had good results. Actually, not even, they had fine results, but they haven't made the playoffs in their first 2 years when they were kind of supposed to.
Yeah. But like Shock did it too. Like the synergy thing. It's like, if you build a team that knows how to work together and trust each other, I feel like that's more effective than being like, these players, we tried them for a season, didn't work, let's try something completely different. It's like, I don't know, man. Give them a shot.
We'll see what happens with Boston, but I think Boston kind of needs a change upstairs rather than a change in personnel.
Rather than a change downstairs.
Yeah, baby. The Chengdu Hunters, basically the same team next season.
Basically the same team.
They're going to have Leave, which is 1 addition, but that's good. They were good last season. I think they just need to figure out I think their tanks just kind of need to grind a little bit because their tank play was the most predictable part. I'm not going to say the weakest, but the most predictable part of their
When they were in
game.
Hammond meta, they were really good, but when they weren't, it was like pretty hit or miss.
Yeah. Dallas. Now, Dallas announced today that they're getting Decay. And they're also rumored to be getting Gamsu, and they also traded OG.
Mm-hmm. And Note is a free agent
for now.
For now, but I would not be surprised to see him stay.
Yeah, and there's not really anywhere else for Note to
Actually,
go.
He could go to Toronto. Because Toronto...
Nevin.
Oh, right. Was that confirmed? That wasn't confirmed, but...
It's not
basically confirmed.
A lot of the Toronto stuff isn't confirmed. Okay. But
if the Nevix thing goes through, then yeah, no, won't go to Toronto. But if Nevix doesn't go to Toronto, I could see Note going there because apparently Toronto's parent company was like, get some Canadian players. So that's why they got Agilities and are trying to get Kareev. So I wouldn't be surprised if
Canadian.
I'm sorry, I meant Surefour.
Yeah.
Kareev is not Canadian.
Dallas is still kind of a interesting team.
Yeah,
Decay was definitely the bright spot.
Yeah,
throughout these last 2 seasons.
Although to be fair, Decay solves the problem that everyone was mostly complaining about, which was Zachary. I don't think Zachary was as bad as people said, but he definitely wasn't the strong point of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and he's also like 19 too.
Yeah. The issue with Dallas is everyone's under contract.
Yeah.
And almost everyone shouldn't be.
Yeah. I think we said this when that full list came out at the start of October.
Yeah.
With all the contract statuses. And we looked at Dallas, we're like, oh, they're kind of fucked because they have literally everyone on their team under contract, so they have to figure out how to trade them or find a team that wants these players, but I don't think a team wants to pay for any of these players.
In fact, we literally...
Like, there was the rumor of Custa and Closer, like Custa going back to Dallas.
But apparently they wanted too much for Closer.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised, I'd have to listen back, but we probably said, honestly, the only person I'd want to keep under track is, like, maybe OG. And then he's the one guy they get rid of. So, I don't know.
But they probably... Well, they got Decay for it, and Decay's really good.
Which is decent, yeah.
He also just was able to play last year.
Dallas is saying that they've got a bunch of big moves coming. I hope this isn't the only thing they meant, because, like, Decay's good, but he's not going to save the team.
Well, and then the Gamsu signing is good. I wouldn't say Gamsu's a top 5 tank in the league, but he's
good.
A top 5 personality.
He's definitely a top half tank.
Yeah, but he's one of the most liked people in the league, which is nice, but also that doesn't really win you championships, does it?
No. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what they do, because they're either going to have to buy... They honestly might have to buy some people out of their contracts if they want to make big moves, but I think
I'd keep Unco.
I'd say probably keep Unco, Closer, keep Trill, because I feel like you, especially with someone like Gamsu to kind of like train, you can like kind of like...
you got to get rid of Mickey at some point, because he's not really doing anything, or he didn't last season.
Yeah. That one's hard because you love Mickey, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like AKM and Taimu and like Harry Hook, they've all had like great moments, but the consistency isn't there.
Yeah.
So
Dallas is in a weird spot, and it's hard. It's going to be hard for them to claw themselves out of it.
They're saying
they didn't say that.
Yeah, they're saying that they're making big moves, but those are 2 big moves, but it doesn't save the team, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Florida. What's your current take on the Florida Mayhem, Adam?
My current take on the Florida Mayhem is that I think they're going to start making big moves soon.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what. There was a period where I thought Ryu Jae-hong might go to Florida, which would be an interesting move. Could still happen, but I see him more likely going to another team. But
yeah.
Apparently there's some beefy rumors about him going to Hangzhou, which I'm looking at right now, and it says that I'm assuming some of these are rumors.
What?
Because it says that Hangzhou has 12 players on their roster. I'm assuming some of those aren't confirmed.
Well, those are all the players they had last season.
Oh yeah. Well, just today.
They said they were re-signing pretty much the main 6 people, like Gushue, Godsby, Bebe, IDK, Rhea, and Sasson. Which is, that's pretty big. And that was the team that got them pretty far in the playoffs.
Yeah. So some people think Jae-hong is going there. But I could also see him going to Florida. Because Florida actually...
But IDK and Bebe were one of the better support duos last season.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm still on the Rio J Yellow train.
Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see it because he didn't I don't think he said it or something, but everyone's like, he wants to go to a Korean team. And I think there was a clip of him saying that he wants to go to a mostly Korean team. And, Florida's a Korean team.
And
those pieces fit together.
Florida showed a lot of promise at the end of last season. Players like Gargoyle and Say a Player and BQB are like...
Well, their whole team was pretty good last season.
Yeah.
In stage 4.
Coaching was but they changed that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see Jae-hong going to Florida. Other than that, I don't know what moves they make. Maybe pick up some Element Mystic players. I've heard some rumors of Element Mystic players going to Florida.
True.
But yeah, I don't know.
Does it sound cooler if when we read rumors and tweets if we say we heard them, because it sounds like we're talking to people?
We heard through the from our sources. Sources Slasher on Twitter says he talked to us specifically about it.
Slasher sent me a text message, a message of text, not a text message.
Oh,
bad
real
joke.
quick,
bad bit.
Real quick, looks like I got a text from Slasher. I was gonna look for a funny photo on my phone to show to the camera.
This is a bad bit. We should just move on. This is too long. Guangzhou.
Yeah, I couldn't find a funny joke. What a terrible bit. I just ruined the whole... Everyone stopped listening right there.
They said, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
I'm out.
What a boring podcast.
What do you think about Guangzhou? They got enough players to start the season.
I think they're fine.
I think they probably pick up all of the team options.
Yeah. They what was I going to say? They
need
basically
a tank.
They're going to keep the core that
they dropped Hoppa.
Yeah.
Hoppa, Thraggy, and Bishu, so they need a tank. They need a off tank. So I don't know how they're going to fill that hole. There's definitely someone in contenders that they can just pick up.
Daco, maybe.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
Because I don't, which we didn't really talk about when we were talking about Atlanta, but he's the only person that I see maybe Atlanta giving away.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't even think they want him anymore. And the same thing with Hangzhou is they were rumored to be picking up someone else maybe instead of Crystal, because Crystal doesn't play for them anymore, even though he still got a contract. Yeah. So they're probably going to get rid of Crystal.
Crystal wasn't one of the people who was mentioned to be coming back, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, Guangzhou, the core that they're keeping is what did well for them, got them into playoffs. So I think they're fine. Get a couple pickups to like flesh out the roster, and you're golden.
Yeah, they probably just need another DPS and maybe 2 more tanks, just in case with all the travel and stuff. And then they're pretty good. I don't know. I feel like a lot more rosters are going to be full, like full 12-man rosters.
Like full 12, yeah. Well, there's a lot of talent out there.
And they're not all going to be traveling.
Because like almost every bit of news that we've heard has been people signing or teams signing players that are already in Overwatch League.
Yeah.
We haven't even really done... There's been like maybe 4 contender signings, which is like nuts. So once the free agency window is closed, there's still going to be like some contender signings.
Yeah,
there's some great contenders players.
After November 11th is when all the team auctions have to be figured out. So a lot of these teams with a bunch of yellow in their name or in their status column are either going to be much thinner or
much greener.
Full. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do you want to talk about Hangzhou? We kind of covered them already.
Just like they got a good team.
Yeah, I wouldn't change much. Maybe just get rid of Crystal, so you don't have to pay him any more money.
Yeah, and then just like fill out the roster, kind of like
trade him. Maybe if they can trade him, that'd be good.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone's gonna take him because I think it's like a work ethic thing more than anything. So on to Houston, baby.
What's your hot take on Houston, Adam?
Houston making big moves. Houston making good moves. Houston making confusing moves. I understand. Here's the thing. They have Jake, who is a flex DPS. They have Dante, who is a flex DPS. Then they sign Hydration and Blase, both of whom are flex DPS.
I wouldn't say Dante's a flex. I feel like Dante's kind of a weird one.
Dante is a weird one.
But I get what you're getting at, where it's like
Dante could be either.
Flex DPS.
Yeah, basically Jake isn't going to do much. Blase's probably going to do very little. It's like a player like Blase, and you put him under Hydration. Like Blase is good enough to be on, like starting on a roster.
I'm kind of surprised that the Valiant isn't scooping up players from Boston.
Yeah, and like or the Glads. Like Glads have no DPS. Pick up Blase. Like I don't know. And like maybe they were bidding on him. Like there's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff that happens, but
maybe the Glads will get Arhan.
Arhan's actually on Fusion. Oh wait, no, that was a troll tweet. I mentioned in last podcast that Arhan got signed somewhere, but it was a troll tweet that he got signed to Fusion Uni. But
it doesn't say he's on a team.
Yeah, it was a troll
anymore.
It was a meme. But
you got tricked, dude. Just like me when the Shock released that super thing.
Oh yeah. It was like thank you super, and then you open the like twit longer, and it's literally thanks for being a good guy. Look forward to you being on our team next season. I was like, that was good. I was afraid that would spark a bunch of other teams being like, that's funny, we should do that. Thank you, Big Goose. Just kidding. And it's like
we just signed him.
Luckily nobody else did that. But
because they're fucking dumb.
No, it's because they're not. Any team that did,
they're both.
Yeah, true. But man, you drinking so much water makes me need to drink water. But
well, I'm out, baby. 1.2 liters down the hatch.
But yeah, I think Houston. I'm confused by their moves. They're good moves, but I'm confused by their moves. Although, if they're going for just like a really great all-star cast, then that's good. Because like, if your sub to Hydration is Blase,
that's good.
Then you're good. So if they do that with the other roles, which the concerning part is it doesn't look like they're really doing, but if they do that with the other roles, that would be pretty great. Like Muma's good, Dante's good. Honestly, Raucus is good. Get him a sub to kind of like coax him in, like, I don't know, push him.
Yeah.
That's been proven to work on other teams as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. Flesh it out a bit more.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem that I have with Houston right now is, oh, my counter isn't working. Is their tanks and their supports, because I don't feel like they're really up to snuff
Well, that is one concern.
right now. Like, Boink's good, but he's not like the best, you know?
Apparently, he's an in-game leader, which is good. But here's the thing. Like we just said, Raucus is good.
Mm-hmm.
But I was about to say, if you're going to have Boink, it's fine as long as the other support's like really good. And Raucus is good. But a Boink Raucus support line's not great.
A Boink Raucus support line is about where they placed, which is average just out of playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston clearly doesn't want to do that anymore because they're spending money on other players, but you should probably spend the money in the right places. And I think the right place to spend the money is on a tank line that you don't really have a flex tank for. Like, Cool, Mad, and Spree are both good at what they do, but they're not the best, you know?
Yeah.
Houston's kind of doomed in mediocrity right now.
Yeah. Like, their DPS line is great. Kind of. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
Hydration Blase Jake. That's awesome as like flex DPS. And then hit scan DPS, you have Linkser and kind of Dante, but Dante's kind of in both categories. So
and Dante kind of fills in weird heroes. Like, his best hero is Sombra.
Yeah, Sombra and Tracer.
Sombra isn't played all the time, especially now because there's too many shields for her to really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Tracer's kind of the same thing. So
I basically they have really good flex DPS. And then everything else still needs to be filled in a bit. Like, obviously
they're way
keep
too
Muma.
deep at flex DPS.
And Spree and Cool Matt, like you said, are good, but them being your only off tanks is not good.
Yeah. Right now, Houston doesn't have a championship roster.
No. They're on their way.
I mean,
but it's a long way.
I think
still.
Harsha is going to make it better for them.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make it a lot easier for them to get there because of his head.
Big brain.
And, you know, their coaching is definitely going to improve. So I hope that they're going to be better the next season, but I don't think this is like a playoff fighting for the playoffs kind of roster.
My concern is that they blew all of their money on hydration, and they were like, "Ooh, we've got a little bit left over," and then someone was like, "Oh, I heard Blase is available," so then they were like, "Let's buy him."
Yeah,
and then it was like, "Shoot, we're out of money."
You don't need him, guys.
So
there is still like 3 months.
Yeah.
So
just where we're at right now, they're very chunky in one area, and the rest is very thin.
They're dumb thick in one area.
Yeah.
Dummy tick.
So we'll see what happens.
The Gladiators, you could not say that they're dummy tick.
No, they're skinny as a...
They've got...
I was going to say skinny as a schoolboy. Don't know what that means.
It's kind of hot, though.
All right. Well, that's too much.
They've got 5-ish players under contract. Panker is a 2-way.
Which I don't think they're going to bring him up, and they'll probably cut off the 2-way, personally.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently he didn't do very well in contenders. Or he didn't impress in contenders.
Big Goose, OG, Shaz, and Space are the supports and tanks they're building with for the future.
Good players.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
Yeah, that's a very good thing to build around, but it's a 6v6 game, guys.
Yeah.
They got rid of... Well, allegedly, they got rid of Surefour. Decay's gone, Roar's gone, Hydration's gone, Ripa's gone, and Void's gone. So, you know, Surefour might come back, but I don't think he will.
No.
I think the Toronto
I
thing's kind of set, even though they haven't.
I think it's like I think it's yeah, I think it's like 70-30. 70% he leaves, 30 he stays. I could see him staying. Honestly, I could see him like being like fully like I'm going to leave, and then they got space and he's like maybe I'll stay.
Yeah.
But just yeah, I don't know. Surefour is the one question mark for me in all of this because I think he could literally. Part of me is like, of course he's staying on Gladiators, but the other's like, it would make so much sense for him to leave and go somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a very big question mark. But the players that Glads do have are good. They just don't have many players.
Well, like, Shaz and Big Goose are probably a top 7 DP or support duo.
I'd say they're a little bit higher than top 7. I'd say they're definitely top 5.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I just don't want to be too crazy, you know?
I think Shaz is by far the best non-Korean flex support.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before and we agreed. And then I think Big Goose is probably second like Western main support behind Moth. But you know, then you've got, I don't want to go through the whole support duo ranking, but they're up there. They're one of the best ones in the league. OG, when he's playing, he's probably top 7, top 5.
Well, like he was playing and everyone was like, we're going to see the like surgence of OG. This is going to be like his season, kind of like Fissure did in season 1, where all of a sudden it was like Froome, and everyone was like, that's what's going to happen to OG in season 2. And then he was like, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, okay. So hopefully he comes back and Jammer Lammy slammies him. But apparently he was talking on his stream that he asked to leave Fuel because he didn't mesh well with the coaching staff.
I could see that.
Not necessarily like didn't get along with them, but just like it. Obviously, it could have been slightly lost in like because he speaks good English, but you never know. But he was like he kept saying that AKM and Unko taught him a lot, and what the vibe that people were getting off of that was that he was saying like they taught him more than the coaches did.
Yeah, and Gladiators do have a pretty well. They've got Deep A.
Yep, they've got Deep A,
who's probably one of the best coaches in the league. So I think that's going to help him a lot. And then they've got Space, who's, you know, one of the best Western or flex tanks, probably the best.
Yeah,
I can't remember another one.
Yeah, an OG Space. Apparently, OG was being. What was he getting offered? He was getting offered to join another team, or apparently he almost joining Paris, and he was like almost signed the contract, and then Toronto offered him a ton more money, and then he was like, oh shoot, I'll go to Toronto, and then right as he was about to sign that contract, Gladiators got Space, and were like, you guys, you want to come over here? And he was like, apparently Space being on Gladiators is what made him go to Gladiators. So an OG Space tank line is actually like real good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like playing with Space because even earlier this week, XQC was like, anything with Space and Custer, and I'll play on that team.
Yeah.
So I think Space is just a fun boy to play with, and he's also very good.
Yeah.
Probably almost as good at Diva as I am.
Speaking of Space, he was traded from the LA Valiant, and Valiant looking even thinner.
Yeah.
They got 3 players.
And we don't... Well, actually, we do mean skinny. These are some pretty skinny boys with some long...
Yeah, they actually... All 3 of them are actually very skinny boys. Custa, KSF,
Custa's
and Shax.
A little thick, but...
he's got a thick... Yeah, they've all got thick necks.
That's true.
But
Custa was
else
almost traded to Dallas. I don't think that...
Which would have been weird, going back to a team.
Yeah. What was the thing we were talking about before where I was like, would Fusion get someone back? Shadowburn. When Shadowburn was dropped, I was like, would Fusion get him back?
And I was like, that would be a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
because they'd be like, we don't need you, and then they'd be like, you want to come back? I feel
Yeah.
like most teams wouldn't want to show that as being like, we want you back, because it would show
Mhm.
that they made a mistake, and I feel like most organizations don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
Valiant haven't really lost their players to free agency. They've mostly traded them away, like Space. They've also traded a Kareev to Toronto, which is confirmed. Agilities isn't confirmed, but we're about 99% sure on that one.
but
Well, actually, every day
Toronto
that passes,
Toronto
less.
teased an announcement video
Mhm.
to come out, like, I think this weekend or sometime this week, and there's like the side silhouette of like a player. It's pretty obviously Agilities, like it's and it like there's the Toronto landscape, like the Toronto is in the background. It's like, who's in Toronto right now? Agilities and Surefour are for the friggin' World Cup boot camp.
Oh yeah,
Everything lines up. So Agilities
yeah.
is
So
on
they're-
Toronto.
they might actually be announcing Surefour then too.
Maybe that would be cool if they announced them at the same time. But
Anyway,
apparently, Kareev, which we'll talk about even more when we get to Toronto. Apparently, Kareev was offered like a $250 contract.
1,000.
Sorry, yeah, a $250,000 contract. Big contract, $200. $250,000 contract from like another team. But then Toronto got Kareev and Agilities for $150,000 like together.
Yeah,
So Kareev took like
much less.
more than $100,000 less just to be with Agilities, and
Yeah.
that makes me happy because that's friendship.
That was a goopy noopy tweet.
Goopy Noopy, also known as Connor Knudsen. You just like saying goopy
Goopy noopy.
and noopy.
Fact Fiction and McGravy haven't been picked up. I think McGravy's probably gonna go down to Contenders or back someone up. Fact Fiction.
I could see McGravy going to Houston.
They already have two boys under support at that position, so I don't think they're gonna pick up.
He's a tank.
He's a flex tank.
Yeah, but you said
They
under
have three
support.
cool men. Oh, well,
That's
I
just
think
confusion.
under contract.
Uh,
That should be my Overwatch League name, Confusion.
yeah, I don't know. McGravy, I feel like
I don't. It's not because I
I don't
don't
know.
think he's bad. I think it's just because there's no space, really. You know,
yeah.
because what team is going to pick up a Western?
Although
flex team?
apparently, I forget who it was. I think it might have been Space responded to McGravy's tweet saying like, or no, McGravy responded to Space or something like that, and then Space responded saying, "Looking forward to like playing you next season." And then everyone was like,
so
"Does
he
that
might
mean
be.
does that mean McGravy is on a team, or does that just mean
next
Space is
competitive
dumb?"
season.
Like, I don't know. So we'll see. But Fact, I think, will definitely get on a team.
Yeah. The difficult thing for me when like we look at these players is, they're good. It's just where do they fit in, right? Because I thought Fact was going to go to Toronto, and he still might.
Apparently,
Toronto's
Toronto's
also
getting
had-
Beast Halo.
Yeah, but I was reading a bit about Beast Halo, and he's average to a bit above average, which is good. But the rest of the team in Toronto is kind of above average.
I would love Toronto to get Fact Fiction. I think Toronto is just concerned about literally just being the new Valiant, where they get
Yeah.
Kareev, Agilities, and Fact, and it's just basically like, I feel like they're concerned about that.
Valiant reskinned, yeah. The thing is, I don't know who they get instead of that because there aren't a lot of really good Western main tanks.
I
Like
would
the-
love it if they grabbed Gator from Atlanta.
Yeah,
As much
that's
as
true.
I'd love it, Gator to stay on Atlanta,
Mhm.
but I feel like Gator would be a good pickup for Toronto also. Anyway, we're talking
Yeah.
about Valiant. There's not much more to say about Valiant.
Yeah,
I
'cause
thought
there's
that
no
they
one
would-
on Valiant.
I thought they would keep Fact, but Custa KSF Shax is a. I mean,
They're
a
also
decent-
doing the budget thing, which they wrote a note that
It's
said
very weird.
it was a weird note, and that's fine.
They were
You
like,
can do
"We're
that.
not broke, guys," everyone's got a budget, and it's like, yeah, but you're being
But
weird
your
about it.
budget's small.
It's a very small budget. It's like, hey, we're not trying to save money. We're just trying to have a budget. And it's like, well,
We can clearly see that you're trying to save money.
yeah.
You
got rid of
your
Kareev, Space, Fact, and Agilities.
Yeah, Space, Kareev, and Agilities are their biggest contracts probably, and then Custa.
Yeah. Kareev and Space, like in season 2, at many points throughout the season, obviously it fluctuated, but were like being argued for being like best in their roles.
Yeah. So they're
we're not
obviously
trying to
going
save money. It's like,
Yeah.
It was also just a weird, like, everyone just talked about how like it was supposed to make everyone go, oh, okay, but it just made everyone go, man, Valiant has bad management.
Yeah, and I think it probably has something to do with that Call of Duty team, which is fine. Complete side note: a lot of the Call of Duty League like team branding is not good. If you look up all their logos and stuff, like Toronto's team is the Toronto Ultra, like Michelob Ultra. It's just blue and white text. I don't know. The one that was cool was the New York one because they had like a logo.
Logos are good generally.
Yeah, that's a very low bar. But a lot of the Call of Duty League branding is strange and seems low budget. I don't know.
Interesting.
London. They're flush with supports, baby.
I think they're also going a bit budget.
Or they're doing a complete reboot.
Yeah, my guess is because they went like, because basically the two ways to go are like, I mean, there's some teams that are like in the middle, but generally the two ways to go are either like go for a super team or go for like a budget team.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gone for super team 2 seasons in a row, and it worked the first season,
Mm-hmm.
but like they weren't a great team into the first season. They just won because they did really good at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then in season 2 they were just okay. So now they're probably just gonna go more budget and try to maybe like get some younger up and coming players.
Yeah, I think they might just find a contenders team and pay the money, get rid of Fury and Bedosian, and see what happens. Like, that's what I feel like London's doing.
Yeah, I could see like
I don't really have anything to support that. That's just what I get in my gut.
I could see them like giving Bedosian away to like Florida. Fury, there's strong rumors of Fury going to New York,
Which would fit.
And then New York would be absolutely insane.
Here's the thing: they'd be as good as they were before, because the thing with New York has never been them being a bad team; it's them having weird mentalities.
Another thing is Pavane left New York, which New York's the next team. Let's just finish up London and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
But New York or London, yeah, I see them basically revamping the team.
Yeah.
Like even the 4 players they still have, Bedosian, Kittermain, Fury, and Krillin.
Why are Kittermain? That's how you say it? Kittermain?
Everyone says Quartermain, but there's no R there. So I say Catermain. But I don't know what it actually is.
How do you spell quarter?
Quarter. So it's the same, but with an R before the T.
Oh.
So everyone says Quartermain, but
character limit.
No.
6. Oh no, it's not a character limit.
No, because Sabiel B's friggin' the whole alphabet long.
Quatermain.
So I've been saying Catermain, but I don't think.
I don't know. We're probably fucking wrong anyway.
Yeah, but out of all of those, maybe keep Krillin. I know that's weird because you were like, why do they still have Krillin? But like, you could get so much money for Bedosian and Fury. Maybe honestly keep Catermain, just like have him and Krillin as like.
Well, they can drop Catermain. Like they can get out of Catermain if they don't want him.
Yeah.
Bedosian and Fury, you'd have to trade, and Krillin, you'd have to trade, and I don't know who's trading for Krillin.
And Krillin's good. He just didn't really play much.
Yeah, he's fine. It's just no team's gonna be like, we need Krillin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not the worst if they keep him. Like he's like they're probably fine keeping him.
Well, I'm just saying like they definitely keep him because I don't think a team.
Yeah,
goes for him. I think, and my theory about them basically just buying a contenders team or doing something like that. It's just the fact that they dropped their two best players. And, well, they didn't drop them, but they just gave
sold
them
them
away.
for a lot of money.
They sold them for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then what are they going to do with all that money?
Probably just buy it.
Yeah.
Buy a roster. Yeah, that's good. That's a good theory.
So, we'll see.
All right, on to New York. Mostly the same. They've confirmed dropped Mecco. They haven't confirmed dropped Flower, but there's been some rumors of Flower going to other teams, possibly to Gladiators, or to Philly.
The Flower thing makes sense because he didn't really fit in New York's lineup because they were just so full at DPS.
He did really well on Pharah in stage 4, but then like I don't know. I think Flower, people kind of like poo-poo on Flower all the time, saying he doesn't live up to the hype that he like got from World Cup. But Flower's good. I think he deserves to be on an Overwatch League roster. It's just when you're on New York and your counterpart is Libero, you're not going to get much playtime.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I see him going.
Mecco's kind of like LeBron James this offseason. Well, not LeBron James. Like, remember this offseason when Kawhi didn't tell us where he was going for like 2 weeks?
But like everyone knew that everyone was bidding on him, like being like, please come to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with Mecco, I agree. Like, because Mecco's definitely going to get signed somewhere, but
where,
dude? I feel like
said anything.
I feel like it's same with Surefour, except there have been rumors. But there were rumors with Kawhi too. It was like, guys, he is definitely going to the Lakers. He is definitely going to Toronto. And then it's like, well, didn't happen.
Clippers.
Yep. So I feel like it's the same with Surefour and Mecco. Except Mecco is just like radio silent, whereas Surefour is like, maybe I'm going here. Maybe I'm going here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think New York will be fine, especially if they get Fury. They're going to be fire.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always going to be a little down on New York, though, just because of their weird mentality thing.
Yeah. And what I was going to say before was Pavane left, their head coach, and now who's he? Is he the assistant? He's one of the assistant coaches for London now. Which is weird. And apparently he allegedly stopped like being head coach and like kind of stepped down from being head coach like before playoffs. Because he was like feeling too much stress, so he stepped down.
Weird.
So I guess just being the head coach and being in charge of a team that's supposed to be really good can be stressful, which is understandable. But
because he can only do so much. Like, he can't shoot the guys.
Yeah.
So he can tell them to shoot the guys, but he can't actually shoot the guys.
Yeah. And yeah, so I see New York being really good. It just really depends on coaching staff. I think they'll be fine, though. Even if their coaching staff isn't very good, at this point they have 3 years of being like a put-together team that they've got the synergy to at least be good.
Yeah. This team's going to be good no matter what, especially with... Actually, I don't really know how their conference is going to shake out or their division's going to shake out. That's yet to be seen.
Yet to be seen.
That could be another podcast when everything's kind of set in stone. But Paris...
Interesting.
Spending a lot of
this
money.
Is an interesting one. Also, you put Aid on here, but he's a coach.
Yeah, that's what.
You put C there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one. Aid goes from Toronto to Paris as a coach, which is interesting. But yeah, Paris really hyped up being a full European roster last season, and now it looks like they're going. I don't think they're going full Korean. It looks like they're going mixed.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they have like the ability to go full Korean right now.
That's true.
They probably would if they could.
Yeah.
But we'll just say their 3 signings: Sparkle,
big,
yeah, Hanbin, Tank, big, Ixzy. Is it Ixzy?
Zigzy, and Shoot, how am I forgetting this? The friggin' coach. Uh, the main reason that Sparkle went to Paris was because they
Oh,
got
Lush or Rush?
Rush.
Rush. Yeah. So Sparkle went to Paris with Rush. Hanbin, Iggy followed. But the notable thing about these 3 player signings is that they're all pretty much underage. I think one of them is able to play at the start of the season. I'm dumb. I probably should have wrote this down in a note. But
I mean, I feel like
they're not going to be a team until season 4 is what I think.
like they're not going to be a competitor till season 4.
Yeah, because it's like the Shock. Remember when the Shock had like they were like, oh, we have Sinatra and Super. By the time Sparkle and Hanbin, I believe it's Hanbin that, yeah, Hanbin. By the time they get into the team, actually Hanbin's coming in February, so he'll be ready for like the 3rd week. But Sparkle's not back until like May, April, which is late.
Yeah. Although I feel like that's a worthy investment.
It definitely is. It's just I don't think this is
It's not a season
the team we're gonna see.
Yeah.
This
And
season.
they'll probably be good enough to be okay next season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're definitely building for a season 4 come up.
So Hanbin's birthday's in February, Iggy's in November of this year,
So
and then Sparkle is in May. May 31. So he'll be there halfway through the season, 3/4 of the way through the season, which is a little
probably
rough.
like halfway through stage 3 or
I
something.
think it's halfway, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's interesting. It's definitely a worthy investment. Get him in there.
They dropped Shadowburn, Finzi, LH Cloudy, and Dane.
Danye. Isn't it
Danye.
Danye? I think you spelled
Danye?
it wrong. Danye.
Well, I don't give a fuck.
Nice. But yeah, it's
Why
kind
are
of interesting
people
because
sending me group chat messages, dude. Fuck off.
But I
That's
think you
really
and I were
rude.
talking about how we expected them to to get Shadowburn and Finzi back.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, no one in their right mind expected Sparkle to go to Paris.
no.
It was probably the most surprising signing.
Well, because Paris hyped up being full European last season so hard that everyone just assumed that they weren't gonna.
Yeah.
Like, just a
Probably.
Korean going to Paris just seemed like it just wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
And
I
that's
guess they
probably
gave
where
up
the
on that dream pretty fast.
I didn't say anything bad.
I didn't hear what you said. You literally cut out.
Oh, I said that's probably where the racism comes from.
Mm. Oh yeah, Cruz. Shout out to Cruz. He's still on team option technically, but Cruz tweeted something being like, "Stop being like, essentially stop being racist towards Korean people. If you're not okay with Korean people being on our roster, then don't cheer for our team."
Yeah.
Which massive shout out because I feel like a lot of people don't. Like, you want to keep your fan base, but you also want to keep your fan base in line.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
It's just dumb. Like, soccer teams are made of.
I thought you were gonna
players
say
from-
Socrates for some reason.
Oh no, soccer teams are filled with players from everywhere. Just because they're Korean, it's not okay. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
There's this weird thing with Paris where it's like San Francisco's mixed. No one's
Yeah.
ever like said anything. Philly's been mixed. No one said anything.
I
Like-
think it's because I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
But then like Paris, it's like, I don't know. The same thing happened with London when London was like full Korean roster. Everyone's like, "You're a London team, though," and it's like, well, yeah, but so is New York. No one's saying anything about that.
The thing is,
What, you don't want? You want them to sign all New Yorkers? Like what?
Mhm.
Like this-
Yeah, that was a dumb thing to say.
Yeah.
Well, but Europe and North America have very different relationships to racism.
Mm.
So I think that's probably where it comes from. Like, I feel like it's much more sensitive over here.
Yeah, that's true.
And Europe's also going through the whole like refugee crisis of people this is in air quotes for audio listeners, invading their countries, which is, I mean, think whatever you want about that, but they're just a whole different cultural spectrum on racism than we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So, basically, shut up.
They're much better than the players that were on the team. So that's probably what you should worry about.
1, shut up. 2, shout out to Cruz for calling people out, because it takes a lot to be like, hey fans, stop,
even though you support my livelihood.
Yeah. So
Philadelphia, another kind of weirdo.
What a weirdo.
They dropped essentially everyone. Well, that's not true. They dropped Neptuno and EQO, which were surprising. Kib, Elk, and Snillo.
No,
not surprising.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they haven't confirmed Kib, Elk, and Snillo. They haven't confirmed Snillo dropped yet, but they confirmed Elk and Kib and Neptuno and EQO, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not surprising. The two surprising ones were Neptuno and EQO, because Neptuno was one of the better main supports in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wasn't my top last season just because there were so many new players that were
and
amazing.
Philly was just weird last season. They had a weird vibe, so
yeah. EQO is probably, he was kind of stuck in the Brig jail thing, and I think that hurt the perception of him. And they've rumored to have signed Carpe back on the 3-year deal we talked about earlier.
Mm.
But they also re-signed Sato, which is a strange move. And this happened at the start of the offseason.
Did they re-sign him, or is he under contract?
Or, his status in that article with the list of like player contract statuses went from team option to under contract. So it might have just been an error in the person that put that together.
Mm.
Like they might have just typed in the wrong thing, which
Possible.
Which makes sense. But either way, Sato's on the team, which was kind of the problem that everyone identified with last season.
Kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, especially when there were times where it kind of seemed like he was going with his own plan.
Yeah.
Which is, probably not what you want to do. But it also seems like Philly's gonna go mostly Korean.
Mm. Which is weird because there's the rumor of them signing Funny Astro.
Yeah. And they also have Poco and Boombox, who are kind of
good,
part of the core of their team.
Mm.
Now that EQO is gone, the core of their team is kind of Carpe and Poco, and the Boombox was actually, I don't really know what to say about Boombox, honestly.
He's pretty good. I thought Neptuno was more of a core than Boombox was.
Yeah, me too. But didn't like him.
Although I also thought that about EQO as well. So
yeah, so Philly's got a plan, obviously. I don't know if it'll work out for them because I don't know who they're going to sign. But they need to somehow find a very good main support so that they can keep their tank line up. Poco's probably in competition with Space for
Western.
Actually, it's probably Space number 1 and then Poco number 2, like clearly.
Mm.
But he's up there. And then, we'll see what Carpe does. Because he did kind of do the holdout for...
I think Nevix might be better than Poco. We just haven't seen him enough.
Yeah. I'm going to be slow to say Nevix is good.
I know, I'm just saying. Yeah, I think the only reason we haven't seen him as much is because he's the shadow to Choi Hyobin, who is like, wow.
Yeah, that's true. But Poco was very good. He's been very consistently good.
Yeah.
So
I think Philly's core is good in Poco Carpe.
Yeah, I don't know. Sato's a weird one to me.
Mm.
And if you're going to drop Neptuno, why don't you drop Boombox? Because you can just bring Alarm up. But I guess it's not as... I don't even know if Neptuno was under contract. I don't know. I'll see if I can find that out. Philly's just kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me no no.
Me no no neither. All right.
Uh,
Want to go to San Fran?
what was Neptuno? Oh, Neptuno was team option, so it was easier.
Right.
We can go to San Fran. It's probably going to be the shortest one of them all. It's
Yep.
the same
They're
team.
keeping the same team, but they said goodbye to Nevix, and reportedly he's going to Toronto. And then they said goodbye to they said thank you to Super, and all they did is just say thanks. They just were like thanks, so he's staying. But yeah, it's the same roster.
Yeah, maybe they pick up.
Run it back,
backups.
baby.
They
Run
probably
it back.
pick up backups.
Run it back, baby. Let's get another
I heard
dub.
someone say that they would get Ryu Jaehong because Violet's not good at Ana, but Violet's pretty good at Ana.
Well, that's pretty good at Ana.
And he can get better at Ana. Like
Jaehong being on Shock sounds like too much.
Yeah.
That's too much. I don't know if that's
already
allowed.
got one of the best main supports in the league, and one of the best flex supports in the league. A flex support that was better than Ryu Jaehong last season. And I feel like that's not even controversial.
Some people would probably get mad, but I think you're fine.
Who were the top 3 last season? Like Jonak, Violet. There was another one. Why am I being a fucking idiot? Twilight. Jonak, Violet, Twilight were the top 3 flex supports last season.
Yeah.
And it was pretty clear. That's just a dumb rumor by some dumb kid picking his nose in his mom's basement while he's huffing glue.
Now I hope Jaehong goes there so that we can run this clip back and show you're dumb.
Don't use that out of context.
But yeah, Shock's going to stay the same because why would you not? Because they're good.
Yes.
Seoul, conveniently. They've dropped Jaehong, Toby, and Zunba. And Fletta's on a team option. Don't know why they wouldn't re-sign Fletta.
Well, there's the thing about him going to like Shanghai or something.
Oh, right. That could be interesting, yeah.
Which they'd have to re-sign him and then trade him if they wanted to get anything. So it's got to happen pretty soon.
Yeah.
But this team looks good.
Yeah. Because now they've got Prophet and Gesture. And like Marvel was good, especially on once Sigma came along. He was doing really, really well. Their main issue was in their DPS line with Fitz and Illicit and Highly is a support, but Fitz and Illicit mostly just being okay. But getting Prophet in there, a Prophet Fletta DPS line, if Fletta stays, that's nutty.
Yeah, and that's the weird part of this, because Fletta rumors. Well, first of all, they need to sign supports probably, because Jexay and Highly are good, but I'm not sure if they're going to win you championships. That said, didn't watch a ton of Soul last season. Fletta and Prophet DPS line is very good if they keep Fletta. If they don't keep Fletta, then they kind of have to get someone else. Because I don't think Prophet and Fitz is great, or Prophet and Illicit, because they won't have to worry about either of them as much as they have to worry about Prophet. And I think the key to a good support line is having to worry about both of them at the same time. So we'll see about that. The tank line, it's fine. I don't know. I think Soul has a lot to do. Like, they obviously don't have to change anything if they don't want to, but I think they're going to do a lot of stuff.
Basically, the Prophet Gesture thing is already like a massive leap. They just got to plug in the holes. Yeah.
So, we'll see how they do.
On to Shanghai Dragons. Basically, everyone's on team option. The only people under contract are Envy and Izayaki. They're mid-season pickups. So Koma, Ding, DM, Dia, Giguri, and Luffy are all on team option. Gamsu is free agent, and Youngjin's a free agent.
Youngjin done.
Yeah, Youngjin has basically said that he's retiring, mostly because he's like, I got to do my mandatory Korean military service. but also because he's like, I'm just kind of done.
Mhm.
But he said that there's a possibility he might come back in the future, which would be interesting. Which sucks
But
because
then,
he was an absolutely bomb Doomfist, like
mhm.
holy. And then
Yeah,
Gamsu is reportedly going to
Dallas.
Dallas, right?
Yeah, it was Dallas.
So that's interesting. They're gonna have to get a tank in there.
I think they probably pick up most of these team options.
Yeah, I say you keep Coma and Luffy.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
if you can have like Ding DM Fleta as your DPS line, that's amazing.
mm.
Uh and then, they probably they have to work on tanks if that does happen.
I
Cuz
think
Dia,
Envy Giguri were like fine. The issue was they didn't know when to play which one.
yeah, that's true.
Cause
I think
like
it's just like, well, in my head, they got to bring up the tanks to the level where the DPS line would be at. Well, even is at right now if they don't get Fleta. Because Ding and DM was one of the better DPS lines when they were playing DPS last season. So Dia and Vigigiri is a fine tank line. Even
D is not a tank.
oh, he's a DPS. I'm sorry, I mislabeled it.
It's okay.
So Envy fine tanks, but they need something else.
Yeah.
They need an anchor. I I think they probably
Which
dropped
Gamzu
Dia
kind of was, but now he went bye-bye.
allegedly,
Allegedly.
but they don't really have to change DPS or supports on Shanghai.
No. I think they're good on DPS and supports, if they get Fleta, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, even Ding DM was a good DPS line.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is Ding's hero pool isn't like super deep.
But that can change.
And if you have Fleta, then just like bring Ding in for Farah.
Mm-hmm. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So Shanghai, I'm sure they'll be fine. Toronto. Toronto making big moves. Apparently spending lots of money. Really wanting to go more, not necessarily more Western, but get some Canadian boys in there. And so they already made the move to get Kariv and reportedly get Nevix and reportedly almost definitely get Agilities. And then maybe get Surefour, which would be crazy because then it's basically Team Canada. Maybe get
That's
XQC in there.
That won't happen.
No, I know. I'm
They
joking.
don't have space, dude, or Custa.
That's true.
Beast Halo has also been rumored, and as we said before, he's average. We'll see how he fares in.
And like
Over.
the report saying that they were getting Beast Halo was like that they were getting him for a starting position.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
And they were trading Ivy for him,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense because with the DPS, with what I'm assuming is their DPS line coming into the season, Agility, Surefour, Logics, and Mangachu, there's no room for Ivy there, especially since they want to go more like Western and Canadian. So,
like, I feel bad for Logics, especially if Surefour shows up there. Well, actually, I don't feel bad for Logics if Surefour doesn't show up there. But if Surefour does show up there, I feel bad for Logics because he's a great player, and then Saya player comes in, and then he gets dropped, and then he gets on Toronto, and he's a great player, and then they get Surefour, and he's probably not going to get as much play time. And it's like, that's a bummer. And I feel bad for Mangachu because it's the same with Agilities. Although Team Canada, they swap between Mangachu and Agilities for stuff, so I'm sure they can do it on Toronto as well.
They'll probably figure that out.
But
Toronto looks very good.
Yeah. They just need to figure out their... Honestly, if you've got great DPS and a great... Oh, I guess they need support because Rofi's on a two-way, so they need a...
They need a main support.
They need a main support, which, honestly, what if they get... Oh, wait, no. Never mind. I'm stupid. I was going to say, what if they get Custa? But I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But, did you say yeah to me being stupid, dude?
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot, dude.
But, honestly, even if their DPS are good and their supports are good and they've got a good off tank with Nevix, then like having Beast Halo be just pretty good isn't that big of a deal. I'm very excited for Toronto to be good.
Me too.
Honestly, the only one that's like really confirmed is Kariv, and even that's enough for me to be like, yeah, Toronto did. So I'm excited.
And Nevix. Well, actually, Nevix isn't.
Which, by the way, we tweeted about this. I guess we mentioned this now, but Calder and I are going to be at the Sunday, April Toronto homestand.
April 19th, I believe.
Something like that. And we're going to be there.
What teams are playing? It's like Washington, Atlanta,
Toronto, London, Florida. Not sure. But yeah, we're going to be there. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to cheering for Toronto, our home city, and then also the teams that we like.
So that day is Boston versus Florida, which
could be good depending on what the moves they make.
London versus Atlanta and Toronto versus
Toronto versus Washington will be tough because we like Washington a lot. But
yeah, that's true.
You can wear your Corey jersey while cheering for.
I don't have a Corey jersey, dude. I have a Stratus jersey.
Hey, baby. It's funny because when I tweeted from our account being like, "Hey, we're gonna be there," Ice Ham Jello replied being like, "Oh, you're gonna cheer for Toronto while wearing your Atlanta and Washington jerseys and Shock jersey," and I'm like, "Yeah, we are." But honestly,
you know what? We love the Broverwatch. Yeah, baby.
We love everybody, except Philly.
That's true. And London to an extent.
You hate London more than I do.
We dislike London fans. We both dislike London fans.
It's still mostly you.
I fuck.
No, you don't.
Nice one, dude.
Thanks, man. Found it, dude.
Vancouver. What's changing on this team?
Not much.
Absolutely nothing.
It's a good team. Just stick with it.
Yeah.
Just stick with it.
You just a little bit unlucky, but you know.
Yeah.
Actually, no. They got absolutely crushed in that last
Just learn how to come back from a loss a bit better, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Washington, our baby boys, the last one in the list. They're looking good. Made two weird signings. They signed Roar.
The only signings they've made.
They signed Roar, which is interesting because even though he was just pretty good last season, it's interesting to sign him as like a backup to shoot, which is Lullish. Lullish is the main tank, right? Elevote's the off tank.
I believe so.
Okay. But like you sign Lullish and Elevote and then you sign Roar, I feel like he'd be on the slightly more expensive end.
Yeah.
So it's a bit interesting. And then they signed Tatuba. Where'd he come from? He came from Contenders, but here, you look it up. But that was one of the first Contender signings that happened, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay." Everyone was like, "This is a weird signing," and it's like, it's just not an Overwatch League signing.
He's a Genji Doomfist Farah from Bubble Burster Gaming.
Oh, that is a bit of a weird signing.
8th in Contenders Korea last season. He was also on 7 previously in O2 Blast.
Oh, see, that makes more sense. But yeah, I guess they got rid of everybody except 2 damage and 2 tanks. So
they need supports. That's pretty much all this team kind of needs now.
Yeah, that's true. They just need supports because Tuba, I guess, there's a good backup for. I guess the part that was weird about it was it looked like they were going to go full Western, and then they signed Roar and Tuba, and it was like, oh.
Yeah. You'd think, yeah. Like, I feel like if they were going to do a mix, they would have signed players that aren't at the positions they pretty much already have down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's weird, but.
That's nice. I like that.
But I'm sure they're fine. You know what would be great? Neptuno to Washington. That would be great.
I was just thinking that. Maybe they get Neptuno or Bonnie.
That
That's
could.
kind of a weird one.
Some people are saying Bonnie
Agupon?
to Toronto, but
That wouldn't be bad actually.
Bonnie to Toronto wouldn't be
But
bad because
I
they've
don't think
got the
Bonnie
Team
would be a
Canada synergy.
starter. I'm not sure if he would be a starter though.
I mean, like we were saying earlier, if you've got good DPS and good tanks, then like having one role, especially when Kareev's your other support, you could probably
Mhm.
pull it off. But
You can be competitive. I don't think you can like win championships if one rule is lacking.
yeah. But
Like
also
we've seen
people
with
can
your
be trained into
Atlanta
things,
Reign
baby.
cucks.
Okay, dude. Well, speaking of Atlanta Reign, you can also see people improve. Like Dogman went from feeder to cheater. I don't know
Don't
if
think
that
he's
was
cheating, but sure.
no. I was trying to come up with like something to mean that he did really good. But yeah, he improved like crazy. So players can improve. So you never know. But
Feeder to cedar.
there you go.
You want to
Sure.
know what cedar means?
Yeah,
Spreading his seed.
spreading his seed, having a sec.
Yeah.
Washington's last game team. All right, how about this? Say one team you're excited for and one team that you are nervous for going into season 3. Or not nervous for, but like think aren't going to do well. So one team you think is going to excel and team you think is going to not do well. And let's not include Shock as a do well because obviously they will. Same with Vancouver.
I wasn't even thinking those two.
Okay, good.
I think the team that does worse or is like bad is going to be the Valiant. And I think the team that does better than expectations is the Gladiators. Because the Valiant, I think they just started making their plan for the offseason, and they've lost out on a lot of players and are doing the budget thing, which they're saying they might be saying they're not doing, but they are clearly doing. So I think given the success from last season, you would have expected this team to kind of build on that, but they're clearly not going to. This team's going to be much worse than
gutted the whole thing. But you think Gladiators are going to do much
better?
And
I think Gladiators already have high expectations, but I think they do even better. Because last year they did get rid of their DPS, but DPS is a fairly easy position to try and fit people in. The problem for the Gladiators last season was their tanks. Roar and Void just weren't really good enough.
Yeah.
And
an OG space tank line's really good.
Yeah, they've fixed their problem. Now, if they tell me they signed Arhan and like some other cuck boy, then I'm going to be disappointed. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the Gladiators are in it to spend some money. And, you know, maybe they get like Flower EQO. That'd be good. Or like
although they have a bit of overlap is the issue. Yeah, like Flower. Who's the hits again? Flower Snillo. That would be a pretty good friggin' DPS line.
Probably do a little. Yeah, but I think they can figure out something that works for them, and you know, they kind of only need guys that can kill people.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
All right.
What about you?
For me, a team that I think is going to struggle shoot, I had it. I was going to say Dallas, but I think they're going to be fine. Boston still has time. I was going to say Paris. Not because
not because of who they signed, but because of like their timeline.
Yeah, just because of who they can't get rid. It sounds so negative. Just because of who they can't get rid of right away, and because of who can't play right away. Now, I think that this is a team, like we said, gearing for season 4. But in season 3, I could see them not doing amazing, which is disappointing. Wolf kind of tweeted about it. He said he wished Sparkle went to a full Korean roster, and everyone's like, what are you trying to say? What, like, are you trying to say that Koreans can't succeed on mixed rosters? And he's like, no. It's just I don't want halfway through the season people to be like, oh, was Sparkle ever really that good, or was he a bit overhyped? Yeah. But it's really...
They don't want to... Like the Sinatra thing.
Yeah.
Where Sinatra came in and everyone's like, he's kind of fucking trash, dude.
Yeah.
it takes more than 2 weeks to get into the rhythm of a team, because Pierce isn't going to be practicing with a guy that's not going to play for 5 months.
Yeah.
So he's not really going to get into the rhythm of that team, and they're going to be in full swing by the time he joins.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to get him in on practices.
Yeah. So that's why. I'm sure
unless Paris just kind of like feeds this season.
They could do that. They could just be like, let's just play our matches.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then the team I think is going to succeed is Toronto. I think Toronto is making a bunch of great moves, especially if the Agilities and Surefour and Nevix signings are true. That's massive. That's a great team right there. I'm excited for Beast Halo. I think he's the kind of player who could have people could have low expectations of, and then just like because of coaching staff and because of like just being in such a big team environment could like start to excel, especially if they I don't know, get another tank in there to kind of like push a little bit. But yeah, I could definitely see Toronto succeeding.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm done.
They could sign a very good or like get a really good main support too, and that just propels them even higher. Yeah, Toronto's good.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Toronto being a little overhyped?
I do think that some people are like, Toronto's building an all-star team. And I'm like, well, they're getting good players.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like San Francisco Shock super team, like everyone's saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. Because I feel like Surefour and Kariv are the only like all-stars.
Surefour and Kariv are all-star. Nevix could be. We haven't seen him play enough for us to see that. But yeah.
So, yeah, good choices.
Thanks.
Should we end this? Because I feel like we've been going for about 3.5 hours.
It's an hour and a half. It's a long boy.
Oh, this is a big, thick daddy.
It's a thick daddy boy. Thank you, everybody, for... Oh, you go.
I was going to say, you know what? What's the problem with having a thick daddy every once in a while?
Sometimes a thick daddy's what you need is to get some warmth in your life.
Fortnite duos?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm going to not do what Calder said after this ends. If you enjoyed the episode, share with your friends. Be sure to like and subscribe. And review. Do all that stuff. Calder just did a spit up like a little child. And, yeah. Hope you liked it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Broverwatch. Follow me on Twitter at I'm a Dumb Cook. And follow Calder on Twitter at Calder_AW.
I changed it again. It's Fat Bastard 69 now.
It's not, though.
Got him.
If it was, I would KMS.
April Fool, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh.
See you next time. We're excited for BlizzCon. Actually, you know what? Just before the episode ends, let's do a prediction. Who's first, second, third for BlizzCon World Cup?
I haven't looked at... Well, actually, we don't even know shit about the...
We don't know group stages at all. It could be friggin' Ireland and Netherlands coming out. By the way, shout out to one of our writers, Luke, for making the friggin' roster announcement video for the Netherlands team.
Oh, yeah, sure. Wait, he did that?
Yeah.
Like, officially?
Yeah. They even tagged him, dude.
That's cool. Probably Korea, Canada, China.
Interesting.
I feel like U.S. is going to get cucked again. But I
love it if they do.
The group stages at all.
Well, because they haven't started.
No, but like I don't even know what the groups and shit are.
Sure. So these could be literally impossible, what we're saying. Yeah. Depending on the groups. But I'm going to say South Korea win. I'm going to say, just because I'm going to say Canada second because we love our home. Yeah, and I'm actually going to say U.S. third. I think they're finally going to get a medal. Mm-hmm. Because their roster's nuts. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I love Canada. I'm sorry. But I'm going to say it's going to be a U.S.-Korea final.
That'd be kind of spicy.
Which would be spicy. I think Canada's going to... I think Canada's going to get revenge on China and get the third place medal. Mm-hmm. Or wait, no. Yeah, because they lost to China, Mm-hmm. But I think Canada's going to get revenge on China, get the third place medal. And it's going to be between U.S. and Korea. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say it. U.S. is gonna beat Korea.
Whoa, dude, that's not allowed.
The Korea roster is nuts, but so is the U.S. one.
I kind of forget what the rosters are. I only really know Canada's. Like I don't know
It's because it's the same as last time.
Yeah, I don't know who's on Korea this year.
Korea,
but it's probably all of the best players.
Yeah, it really is. Basically, they have Choi Hyobin, so.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. But
Finals
also,
MVP.
the U.S. has Corey, so.
Oh fuck yeah!
So it's going to be an immovable object is about to meet an unstoppable force. Anyway, everybody, I was supposed to end like 5 minutes ago, but thank you everybody for watching and listening. Love you. Bye bye. Have a good one. That's supposed to be a kiss, and then it turned it.
All right. Hey.
We both looked like cozy boys this whole time.
Oh, well, I just copy you.
It was really cozy.
It is. I like it. I like this because it kind of softens the sound on your ears.
It does. Kind of filters it a bit.
Fortnite duos?
Oh, no.